Well, I bought this church bus without so much as hearing the engine turn over. What's the worst that could happen? Well, it looks like, at first glance, it's a carbureted 460. Could be a 351 as well. Air conditioner's complete. Got the plastic reservoir. Master cylinder, looks like it has some brake fluid left in it. Oh yeah, this is the old one with the hood prop. The true story, this van seems to have a lot of a sentimental feel to me already, even though haven't got into it, because growing up, we drove around in one of these old 80s vans as kids. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's see if we got any water in the oil. Please don't have water in the oil. That would indicate that it froze. All right, that looks like good motor oil. Phew, now let's check the antifreeze. There, dollars. Well, that looks pretty dry. I don't know if that's bad or good, but we'll see. Here's something that's puzzling. It's not a diesel, but we got a spot for a battery here and a battery here. So I'm guessing it must be a backup battery since it's a bus for all of the electronics, like the bus door openers and stuff like that. I don't know, does anybody know about these things? And what does that bird up there mean? Is this a bird company? I don't even know what brand of bus it is, but somebody leave a comment if you know. This oil filler cap, which is a Motorcraft brand, it brings back memories, because as a kid, when we would get our old Ford van going, me being the oldest kid, it was the job of me sometimes to go ahead and, or my job of me, goodness, to put oil in the van before we left. So I've pulled a cap like this many times as a young man and added a quart of oil. That van had a 351 though. You don't leave that on there. That's some good fire starting material. That's what we don't want. It looks like the ignition's unmolested. That's, you know, coil, cap wires, rotor all still in place. So all the belts are good. Looks like nobody removed an alternator belt, which would indicate like a frozen alternator or idler. And they don't look to be that bad. I think this might be like the OG cruise control, maybe. Not sure. I'll take y'all on the walk around. So we got the big mirrors. Got clear glass. See all the control switches in there. Looks like we got a couple of tires that are low, but nothing's completely flat. So that's good. I do believe I'm in some poison ivy over here, so y'all pray for me. I don't see any flats down this side either, so that could be good. We definitely have a dry rot situation going on with these tires. I live about 50 miles from here, so I don't know if it'll make it. Frame don't look that rusty. Just some surface rust. Nothing crazy though, so I bet you it's been a Southern truck its whole life. I remember opening one of these. I'm gonna step back just in case there's a big old wasp nest. Okay, no wasp so far. We got some trash in the dash. I don't know what that is. Huh. There's a bare wire, that's bad. We definitely don't need a fire. Yikes. That do look like a big block. What do y'all think? My gut's saying this is a 460, so it may very well be. CB radio. I'll be. Look at the interior, y'all. Wow. Not bad. OG radio. Huh. Is that for real? That might have rolled over. 60,616 on the odometer. If that didn't roll over, this thing's barely used. Oh, let's see, don't look that worn either. Oh, look at these door seals. Oh, crank windows. Look at that. Talk about taking me back. There's a lot of crud on the engine, and this compressed air you get for your office is great for getting rid of some of this stuff. Brought a bag of goodies with us. Number one is this B12 Chem Tool from Berryman. Good for cleaning up the tank. Some brake fluid. NW30 motor oil. And most importantly, some lubricated starting fluid. Of course, and some gas. Well, this gas cap has seen better days. I think I'm gonna have to get a screwdriver to get that gas cap out. Definitely replacing this with a non-locking cap. Y'all wouldn't believe the size of the mosquitoes out here. They're massive. The leaky fuel like crazy. Makes me wonder if the filler neck on this thing is busted. I almost think it's busted. We're leaking the gas out as fast as we put it in, that's for sure. Now we got to drug out to kind of get a picture of what we're looking at here. I think those are like Ford Aero Star taillights. Church bus plates. Little sprig of poison ivy. Yeah. And a really happy wife.
Hey Dad, the bus is bigger than our pizza.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mom, you're gonna have trouble staying home.
Well, I found the reason for our gasoline pouring out everywhere. The filler tube is cracked right there. So I'm hoping that there's fuel in this tank. I don't know. But if there's not, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get gasoline in the filler neck right there. Oh, good times. Critical first step, let's put a battery in this thing and see if it'll turn over. Whew. It's hot out here. All right, let's see if we get any smoke. All right, no smoke so far. All right. here goes nothing. Well, that's a good sign. Let's bust out some starting fluid. That's promising. And I'm not convinced there's fuel getting to the carburetor. And I think this is the fuel filter right here, but I've never worked on one of these before. So we got it cracked. Let's see what's in here. Whoop. Woo! That's some stinky gas, y'all. That is indeed the fuel filter right there. And yeah, the pump's not pumping anything, I don't think. So we may be in a situation where we're either going to have to rig up a pump or we're going to have to tow it home. We'll have to make that decision here momentarily, but yeah, we're not getting any gas in the filter here. I'm going to have my wife cycle the key on and off and see if anything comes out. Before we get too far down the road with this, we want to make sure it'll actually hold antifreeze. So let's go ahead and see. Because if we get her running, if she can't cool, we can't drive her. Now we wait and we look for drips. So far so good on the antifreeze holding full. So we're going to go ahead and now try to put some brake fluid in her and see if we can pump up these old brakes. Because regardless of whether or not she runs or not, she's got to be able to stop. All right? Let's see. All right, she's full. Try to get some pressure on these brakes. I don't know. We better hope this thing's got emergency brakes. So far so good on the antifreeze leaks. So we'll hope that the cooling system is holding. We got to go into town and get some more supplies. Just for grins, I'm going to see if the door lock actually works. For all these years. That's cool. All right, one of the other things we have to address is these low tires. If we're going to tow this thing 50 miles, we got to see if we can get some more air in them. So that's next. So I decided the fuel system is beyond salvaging, at least to get it home. When we get it home, we can do more to it. So I'm at the local Walmart to get a boat tank. We're going to do the old boat tank and electric fuel pump trick. We're going to go ahead and grab some more antifreeze just in case. Grab some zip ties, hold our tubing in place, and we'll get a 30-foot roll of this 16 gauge wire for the electric fuel pump. And we'll grab some connectors. We can always use these back at the house. Much as I hate to admit it, I need a new tire inflator too, because mine is just not putting those tires up to pressure. And finally, some glass cleaner. This is something we could probably use back at the house, so I'll get two. Oops, can't forget the paper towels. We're at O'Reilly's. We're going to see if they got us one of those little external fuel pumps and some fittings so we can basically plumb around that old fuel tank. Here at O'Reilly's, I picked up this Edelbrock fuel pump that comes with an actual fuel filter. And then of course there's our boat tank fitting and a double barb to connect us to the existing fuel line. So now we're just waiting on some fuel line. Got me hooked up. And we're back with this new inflator. Let's see if we can get these tires to go up. That'd be ideal. Comes with this handy little case. That's nice. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, so what we did is we put one of these double barbs in the fuel hose that we bought, and then we're going to go ahead and hose clamp this down tight, and then we're going to attach this underneath the bus to the existing inlet line going toward the carburetor. Here on the boat tank, we've attached another barbed end. It's not really a barb, but anyway, and this is where our fuel pump is going to hook to pull fuel from this tank and push it into the fuel system of the bus. Something amazing about a good woman. Look at this. She's cleaning the bus window so that I don't have to drive in the dark.
Dad, we did too.
Thank you, son. Thank you, daughter. Thank you, honey. She's a good woman. While I'm under here, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this fitting, because I can imagine this being probably a hard to find part. I went to the local O'Reilly's for brass parts. Some of that stuff is very difficult to come across, so I don't want to lose that. Next thing I'm going to do is insert the barb end that we made into this existing fuel line. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I may have to actually cut it. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut it. But instead of cutting it here and destroying this end where I can't repair it, I'm going to cut it further back along in here, so that way I can come back in with a double barb and fix this. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and reattach this fuel line here, and I'm going to slice it right about there. There we go. I'm going to cut this end off a little bit cleaner. Shoo! This stinks. All right. There's our pretty packaging. There's our pump. Y'all take a look at that. Pretty simple construction. Comes with a black and a red. There's the inlet for the filter. There's the outlet. And here is the inline filter that it came with. Wow. They even included a couple of mounting bolts for mounting it. What was that? So we'll go ahead and pull this plug on this end. And this end's going to have a thread on it. This will be our barbed end here. And we'll just thread this little puppy right in here. And it doesn't have an arrow, but I'm just going to guess. Oh, yes, it does right there. Look at that. Flow. So, boat tank, fuel line coming out of the bottom of the bus. There we go. My whole life I've heard there's no mechanic in a bottle. But I found mechanic in a bottle. That's a joke. Now, I cannot strongly tell you guys enough not to do what I'm doing right here, okay? This is not good at all. But we do keep these tanks in our boats with us, so I've got all the windows open and all the doors open on this bus. And if it starts, I'll be driving it with all the doors open to make a hasty exit. But there's our fuel pump, there's our tank. And now we just got to run a wire up to power. Don't do this. I can't stress that enough. Don't do it. Well, despite my best efforts, we've got fuel leaks no matter how I hook up the fuel line. This Ford's got that old crusty plastic hose that runs the whole length of the bus. And I don't want to go up in a fireball. So we've gone to option B, which is tow. This should be interesting. I had to stop off at a tractor place think it's called PTI. Anyway, they are very nice people. They gave us some air for the front tires because we were flopping pretty hard. But we are back on the road. Yeah, Progressive Tractor. If y'all are ever out this way, near Wabaseka, Arkansas, these are the guys to see. Super nice people. Big thank you to the gentleman in the back, Jeff. And thank y'all so much. I'm telling you what, you gotta want to do this. Being towed in the summer heat of Arkansas, it's hot. This bus ain't running. Even if it was, it ain't got air conditioning, so I hope y'all are enjoying the content. Oh, we already broke our strap once. We retied it and here we go again. We're somewhere between Wabaseka and England. Well, it was a harrowing event, but we got this thing towed 50 miles. Now, we are not home yet. We're at a halfway point. We're actually at our business, and we're parking it here for a couple days while I get a pressure washer to it, get her cleaned up, and then bleed those brakes and see if I can get her to fire up after putting a fuel pump in. And then, yeah, take her home. So, to be continued. Well, here we are a couple months later. We're gonna try to get this bus running, see if it'll go in gear. We don't have any brakes, but I think I can get them pumped up so that it'll stop. But we'll see. Let's get to it. The fuel system on this old bus is pretty messy. It's got lines under the bus that need to be replaced and a few other things. So I'm gonna bypass the fuel tank, just to get it running and use a boat tank. So this one has 2 feeds coming from the main fuel tank. So I'm gonna have to block one and put a fitting on the other one so I can attach my fuel line for my electric fuel pump. So this bottom one's a 5/8 and this top one's a 1/2. Like that right there. So I'll basically put those together and then try to pop this top one loose. Here we go. And now we gotta loosen this one up, take it off. So this one here is a 5/8. I'm betting that's a 3/4. Let's try it. Yeah, 3/4. And then we will put the wrenches side by side and just push. Oh, it's tight. Oh, there we go. There we go. Down. There we go. So there's our 2 fuel inlets from the tank. And then this goes from here to the carburetor. If I can get this off, then I can take this to the parts store with me and get another fuel filter that will allow me to have a single in. Now normally I'd be going to Advanced Auto, but AutoZone is close to where I have the bus parked, which is at my business. So let's see if they can help us. Y'all, AutoZone did not disappoint. So, in order to bypass this, gentleman there came up with basically a solid brass union, all right, double female, and then a male with a barb. So, we're going to put these 2 together, and then this will take the place of this, allowing me to hook my Edelbrock electric fuel pump up to the end of this line right here. Of course, I'm going to remove this barb from the failed attempt out at the church parking lot in Wabaseka. earlier in the video. But anyway, this will be connecting directly to right here. So we're going to bypass all that mess that is the fuel system on this bus and run it to a straight tank of clean gasoline that's sitting in there. Good and tight in there so we don't have any fuel leakage here. And there we go. I do not recommend doing this at home. If you're watching this video, do not repeat any of the actions I'm doing here. Whatever you do, don't do anything I'm doing, okay? This whole video is just for entertainment. Can't stress that enough. Still don't see any smoke at this point, so that's good. Well, you know that battery's hot. All right, we got the fuel pump hooked up. Let's turn it over, see what happens. As you could probably tell from the noise, it does not have a catalytic converter. But for a carbureted engine that sat for over 10 years, I have no idea why that started like it did. I promise I didn't do anything to it. That's crazy. Okay, so we got it to run. Let's see if it'll drive. As you can tell, it is running really rough and it is also struggling to stay in gear. So I pulled the transmission dipstick, it was low. So Back to AutoZone we went. Picked up some of this Berryman B12. Some of this STP. It is compatible. I checked it for Dextron. What does this thing got? I'm sorry. Yeah, Dextron 2 is what this bus has in it. A couple quarts of that. And I've never bought one of these before, but it's, instead of a funnel, I decided it's got like a cap here and an on-off switch. So let's go ahead and fill the transmission fluid up. On this bus, it is very difficult to see, but the transmission filler is way back there underneath that cowling, or underneath the actual firewall. So when we pull it, we got to reach way underneath here. Pull this sucker out, and it's probably a mile long. Look at that. Yeah, I had to step back a full 4 feet from the bus to get this dipstick out. And here's that filler neck on that quart. So instead of a funnel, you get this big filler neck, and then it's got a on-off indicator here on the bottle. And even with that big long neck, it barely gets back there to the filler. Here we go. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put that Berryman directly into our boat tank here. And that'll get it. Yeah, baby. My help arrived. I have my lovely daughter and my handsome son that just joined me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put, and my wife, of course, she's the that keeps this whole thing together. But I'm gonna put this in this boat tank so that we can start cleaning that carburetor up pretty quick. That carburetor is pretty shellacked. Just push that button right there, baby. Yep, push it. Well, there it goes. All right, so adding transmission fluid did the trick. I got the bus moved, as you can see. It's in position, and my whole beautiful family is here to help me, but we're gonna go ahead and clean this thing up. Funny thing about this bus, when I started going through it, is I found this in the overhead storage. It's a Zildjian medium thin crash, and this sucker is split out bad and cracked. But I'm a drummer myself. Wouldn't it be cool to find out the drummer, if they're still around, that broke this cymbal and left it in the overhead bin in the bus? Be so cool. So if you're watching this video and you're familiar with this church that you saw on the outside, and any of the drummers that have ever served at that church, or you are that drummer and you know about this broken cymbal, hit me up in the comments, and we'll connect maybe, and get you your cymbal back if you want it for a trophy. Otherwise, I'm going to hang it on my wall. Well, that wraps this video up. This bus has been a ton of fun, but it's time to pass it on to the next owner. I may have a buyer already, and that engine may have a new life in a Ford Bronco. Who knows? That may happen, it may not, I don't know. But it would be cool if it did, and if it does, I'll let you know in the next video. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love it that you're here. Thank you for sticking with me through this bus, this harrowing ordeal of towing this bus home. Very sketchy what we did, and then getting it running and washing it. And yeah, so hopefully on to the next family, the next whoever. This thing would make a great camper. You literally could convert this thing into a camper. You could convert it into, I mean, any number of things. This is a huge cabin. I think this is a 40-seater. I probably don't know how to count, but that's okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to Grubbing Gas. If you haven't, please consider subscribing and give us a thumbs up and a comment on this video. It helps us a lot when it comes to the algorithm and analytics and moving up the food chain on YouTube. And as always, God bless y'all. Have a blessed day. And here's looking forward to another productive year with Grubbing Gas. Y'all take care.